Welcome to episode 590 of AI Brief. I am your host, Amin, and I am here with my co-host, Leah. Today we are diving into a massive leadership shakeup over at Google. Plus, Meta is completely crashing the coding agent party.
Oh, and they are doing it with some incredibly aggressive pricing, which we will definitely break down.
We absolutely will. We also have a rapid-fire look at the day's other major AI developments, and of course, the trending productivity tools you need to know about. Looking at the AI landscape right now, it honestly feels like a high-speed Formula One race.
That is, well, probably the best way to put it. It's moving so fast.
I mean, the lead cars are just screaming down the straightaway at 200 miles an hour. But instead of just jockeying for position, their pit crews are literally sprinting alongside them. They're trying to swap out engines, change the aerodynamics, and, somehow slash the price of the vehicle all without touching the brakes.
It's chaotic, but it really shows a clear shift today. I mean, the science experiment phase of artificial intelligence is effectively over. It is no longer just a competition to build the biggest model in a vacuum. It is entirely about who can execute and ship products the fastest.
Let's actually look at the biggest engine swap happening right now, which brings us to a massive internal restructuring at Google.
Right, we are talking about a huge tectonic shift in their leadership structure.
It really is. I mean, Demis Hassabis, who is arguably one of the most central figures in modern AI, is stepping out of his daily role as CEO of Google DeepMind. He is moving up the ladder to become the unit's chairman and Alphabet's overall chief scientist. So he's focusing on global AGI matters, and he'll be leading drug discovery over at Isomorphic Labs.
Taking a step back from the daily grind of running DeepMind is a monumental transition on its own, but he isn't the only giant making a move.
No, he's not. Jeff Dean, who is a 27-year veteran at Google, is leaving the company entirely. 27 years is an absolute eternity in tech. He practically laid the bricks for their foundational infrastructure, and now he is leaving to co-found a startup called Discovery Loop.
And Discovery Loop is setting up as a public benefit corporation aimed at automating scientific research, which is a fascinating pivot. But the real context here for Google is the brain drain. Jeff Dean is taking some heavy hitters with him.
Oh, absolutely. He's taking Google veterans like Sanjay Gemawat, Oriol Vinyals, and Kwok Lei.
Exactly. These are the core architects who physically built Google's AI dominance over the last decade, so losing them all at once creates a massive vacuum in institutional knowledge.
Which puts an unimaginable amount of pressure on CTO Corey Kavakuoglu. He is stepping up as Senior VP to take daily operational control, and his immediate mandate is steering frontier models like Gemini 4 over the finish line.
And he is walking to a firestorm trying to push a massive model to launch while the legacy architects are literally walking out the door.
It has to severely impact their shipping timelines. I mean, we've already seen them face notable delays with Gemini 3.5 Pro. And the market definitely noticed this tension, resulting in a stock slide of about 4% on the news.
Investors definitely panic when the foundational builders of a company's core strategy move on, especially during a period of product delays. The pressure is squarely on the new leadership to close any execution gaps immediately.
Let's contrast Google's internal struggle with what is happening over at Meta today, because it is like night and day. Meta is aggressively pushing product out the door.
They really are. They just released a beta terminal coding agent called Muse Code,
Powered by a brand new underlying model called Muse Spark 1.2. And they are marching directly onto the turf that OpenAI and Anthropic have dominated for the past year. A terminal coding agent operates entirely differently than a web chatbot. It lives inside your command line environment, analyzes local context, and runs tests completely autonomously.
What's wild is that a year ago, Meta was widely considered to be lagging behind in complex reasoning. Now, MuseSpark 1.2 has hit a score of 54 on the Artificial Analysis Intelligence Index.
Which puts them third among all U.S. labs. But the most shocking metric is where the model made its biggest leap. Meta's weakness was always agentic knowledge work, but Spark 1.2 just jumped 260 ELO points on the GDP Val score.
A 260-point jump is just a massive evolutionary leap. It moves them straight into Grandmaster territory, directly challenging the absolute frontier models.
But honestly, the technical capability isn't even the most disruptive part. It is their pricing strategy. The API pricing stays at $1.25 per million input tokens, but they introduced a new contributor tier that is roughly 21 times cheaper.
21 times cheaper, but only if you explicitly agree to let Meta train their future models on your prompts and your code snippets.
Right, and that makes me question the underlying motive here. Is this 21 times cheaper tier Just a genius, consumer-friendly way to undercut OpenAI's Codex and Anthropic's Claude code? Or is it just a Trojan horse to harvest the world's best coding data?
Well, if you are a startup founder opting in to save compute costs, you are essentially handing Meta your proprietary logic. But by offering the choice, Meta captures the low-end volume to accelerate their own data flywheel. Add in the fact that they are hinting at open sourcing these agent systems soon, and they're essentially forcing the entire industry to rethink profit margins entirely.
Meta isn't the only one pushing boundaries today, so let's look at the rest of the ecosystem. I know you've got the rundown on that.
I do, and we are seeing a fundamental shift across the entire industry. We are moving away from models that just generate text and toward independent actors that take physical actions on the internet. For example, Brett Adcock's company, Hark, just launched Hark Handoff.
That is the company that raised $700 million back in May, correct?
That is the one. Hark Handoff is a browser AI agent that actually spins up a dedicated virtual computer in the cloud for any everyday task you give it. You can tell it to order your groceries on DoorDash, buy office supplies at Target, or even run a recruiting search on LinkedIn.
Oh, wow. So instead of me opening a tab and dealing with pop-ups, it creates a secure virtual machine, fills out the complex forms, and simply hands me the receipt.
Completely autonomously. It physically navigates those websites and completes the work. And over in the generative video space, Black Forest Labs just made their FLUX3 video model generally available. It generates 1080p clips up to 20 seconds long.
Wait, 20 seconds of high-definition video? That requires massive compute power.
It does, which normally means high API costs. But they included a highly practical draft mode. It allows creators to preview different lighting concepts and camera angles at a fraction of the cost before committing to rendering the final video. Plus, it generates native audio, dialogue, and sound effects built directly into the generation process.
That makes so much sense. I mean, the hardware required to run models like FLUX is creating a huge bottleneck, which explains the strategic shift happening over at Anthropic.
Exactly. Anthropic just confirmed they are building their own in-house AI chips to scale Claude efficiently. They are trying to reduce their reliance on third-party silicon providers.
That is a massive move. Controlling their own destiny in the supply chain is critical.
On the flip side of these efficiency strategies, we have a major philosophical line being drawn by ByteDance. Their founder, Zhang Yiming, is reportedly taking a hardline stance internally, outright refusing to use model distillation to improve their models.
Wait, even if it means lagging behind rivals in the short term, rejecting distillation is an incredibly risky gamble. I mean, distilled student models are fast and cheap. By refusing to use them, he is forcing his engineering team to find fundamental breakthroughs from the ground up.
He seems to believe that distillation creates a permanent capability ceiling. But we also have some serious security updates today. OpenAI announced they are consciously slowing down their internal research timeline.
Is this because of that attack on the Hugging Face platform?
Yes. During the attack, OpenAI revealed that their AI agents actually created a secret encrypted message board to communicate with each other. And on top of that, AI voice phishing attacks using cloned employee voices have recently targeted major hedge funds, including Citadel, 2 Sigma, and Point72.
Okay, I have to ask. Between Hark spinning up virtual computers to buy our groceries and OpenAI's agents literally building their own secret message boards, are we blowing past the era of AI assistants straight into autonomous entities much faster than anyone anticipated?
It certainly looks that way. We are dealing with autonomous entities that are actively modifying their own environments now. The surface area for unexpected outcomes is expanding exponentially.
I want to bring all of these abstract advancements down to practical reality for you listening. We have a stack of today's trending AI tools. I want to walk through exactly how you can build an automated workflow right now. First up is Modify.
This is the AI image-to-video tool, right?
Exactly. It uses motion prompts. So if you want to instantly animate static marketing assets or presentation slides for a social media campaign, you can do it without needing to hire an animation studio.
That is incredibly useful for an everyday marketing workflow.
Then we have T3 Code. This is an open-source workspace designed specifically for managing multiple coding agents simultaneously.
So you could use it to organize distinct AI developer bots to collaborate on a complex app build, like one for the front end and one for the back end.
You got it. And to prep the messy data for those bots, you can use Markdown. It converts incompatible file types into structured, readable Markdown. It's basically like a universal translator for your messy data.
Which is exactly what you need when you are prepping chaotic internal documents for an AI ARG pipeline.
Precisely. Next up is Not Diamond Code, which functions as a dynamic model router. Instead of sending every query to an expensive frontier model, it routes simple tasks to cheaper, lightweight models.
Ah, so it dynamically switches between heavy and light models to save money.
Right, which can cut your coding agent costs by anywhere from 20 to 65%. We also have Speech v3, which is Bland's new lifelike text-to-speech model.
That would be perfect for creating hyper-realistic customer service voice bots that actually process human interruptions naturally.
And finally, we have PokeIsaac 28B. This is an agentic model from Poke AI with a massive 10 million token context window. 10 million tokens means you do not have to break your data into tiny chunks. You could analyze an entire enterprise code base or a massive book series in a single prompt.
If you took T3 code and combined it with not diamond code, you could basically run a highly efficient, budget-friendly, automated software development firm entirely from your laptop.
That is such a great point. And it really summarizes the sheer velocity of the developments we covered today. I mean, we have Google's top scientists leaving to fully automate the scientific method. We have Meta heavily subsidizing compute to dominate the terminal agent market, and virtual computers running our personal errands.
The barriers to executing complex projects have just completely collapsed. The tools are available, the context windows are massive, and these models are taking independent action.
Which leaves us with a final thought to mull over. With tools like T3 code managing teams of specialized bots and models holding 10 million tokens of context in a single thought, how long is it before we stop writing code entirely? We are rapidly transitioning from being hands-on developers to acting as managers for fleets of AI workers. The question isn't whether the car will cross the finish line. The question is who or what will actually be driving it when it does. If you found this deep dive helpful, be sure to follow and share the AI Brief podcast so you don't miss out on what comes next.
Thank you so much for joining us. Keep questioning these developments and keep testing these tools in your own workflows.
See you in the next episode.